Well, last week, Miss Dillon and I took a trip up to Spencer, Indiana to Checkered Racing to pick up some more Go Fast stuff for the Mustang. And we took the wagon up there. It was about 90 miles to get there, so it was a little drive. But on the way back, we were driving down the road, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna take that road home. So I did this. Oh, what happened? All the way to the floor. So I didn't know at that time, didn't know if we'd blown a line or what had happened. So we pulled over, and turned out that it was the master cylinder. So, which I suspected, but just wanted to confirm that. But we were able to make it on home just by, it turns out, you know, that if you hit it real fast, it blows back and bypasses the piston, and of course you have no pedal. So we were able to get on home just by, you know, planning way ahead. So anyway, you got to do that anyway with manual drum brakes, you know, so not a very big adjustment at all. So anyway, we're gonna run to town and pick up a new master cylinder. I've already ordered it, and I called them this morning, and it is there. So we're gonna take the master cylinder off the car and run up there, exchange it, and come back and put it back on. Let's roll. Well, the first thing I want to do is go in here. I think I've had these brake lines loose before, but we're going to make sure. If I did, I really tighten them up again. All right, so that didn't let go of the line. So we're going to have to put some heat on it, looks like. I don't think I had them loose. Yeah. All right, so we're going to have to do some finessing. So we're going to get all this plastic stuff out of the way and get the little torch out and see if we can warm those up, put some penetrating oil on them, get them to let go. Let's get in here, see if we can get some of this loose. Yeah, kind of like that. Get that good and hot. I don't want to get it red, but I do want to get it pretty hot. It'll suck some of that penetrating oil in there when I spray it on. And then I can wiggle that nut around with the line wrench and hopefully break that loose. Because what's happened is the flare on the end of that line has rusted to the nut, to the flare nut, which is common. Alright, let's just try this. It's gonna let a little smoke out now. Hopefully some of it gets in there. Yeah, you kind of see it sucking it in. Alright. Now, let's put this old wrench on here. Go ahead and put some on there too while we're at it. I'll put a little extra light on the subject. And I've done this a lot of times and usually it works. work on this one a little bit. Try to wiggle it some more. Oh, look at there. That one broke loose. Let's see, here we go. Oh, that one broke loose too. Alright. Yeehaw. Hallelujah. Alright. Get that out of there. Put that on full where it can cool off. And alright. Alright. Definitely worth the extra 10 or 15 minutes that it took to get that broke loose. We are on the home stretch of getting this master cylinder off. And these line wrenches are worth their weight in gold. I mean, I've seen most of these things usually have had, they're chewed up where they've had channel locks and vice grips on them, which don't get me wrong, hey, I've done that too. Because I don't always have nice line wrenches. But I got them now, and if you don't have some, they are worth the investment. Not only do they preserve your flare nuts, but you know, it's just, everything looks better. They grip better. You get a good tight, you know, because just a regular open-end wrench, it'll just round around that. Usually there's way more torque necessary to turn these than what you can do with an open-end wrench. And that these little points on those hexes will hold, so you just round them off, and then that's why you end up putting vice grips or channel locks on them, because you know the wrench won't fit it anymore, not even a line wrench. So now we're going to get in here, see if we can unbolt it. Wasn't too worried about those. I knew I'd had those out before. Well, not quite the angle I want. This will go on there. Oh, that'll work. there we have it. One 1963 AMC Classic master brake cylinder. So we're gonna go ahead and go pick up the new one. We'll be right back. Well, we're back with the new master cylinder. Looky, looky. So, right on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and put some etching primer and some black paint on that so that you don't rust up again like the old one did. And, you know, then we're gonna slap it on there. So, let's do it.
Eventually we're going to have to get the brakes, hopefully, and everything else, but either way, we got to get this thing going, so we'll have some rubber on it that way. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the morning, back on the C10 thing. I'm going to switch these down, got them out in the sun, let these dry for a little bit. There's plenty to do while this is done. But yeah, got them sprayed down. They're not going to be perfect by any means, but they still are the same color. Now I just got to set the bake point to about 90 degrees. There we go. Well, the wheels are dry. I got one all mounted up here. I got some new sensors off that Thunder website. They're clearly a knockoff. The original tab a bow tie that's in the key in the center. But that should snap them up. The color is right. And I thought I had some newer trim rings somewhere here, but I couldn't find.
Well, now that all the painting's done, all the pretty making is done, it looks pretty good. Uh-oh, do you see the issue that I see? I mean, like right in here. That don't look the same. But that's actually okay. That's not what I'm talking about. It's these. The fittings are different sizes in these master cylinders. Everything else is the same. So I'm either going to have to get some adapters or just put new flare nuts to fit my new master cylinder on the line over there. So I'm going to have to, if I do the new, well, either way, I'm going to have to go to town and get some stuff. And well, you know, a lot of times fittings like that, you know, they look at you like you're crazy when you go into a parts store looking for stuff like that. Nowadays, didn't used to be that way, but nowadays it's that way. I do know a place where I can go get them right now, but it's about an hour from here, and I'd rather not go that far. But you know, hey, if I got to, I got to. I need to go there anyway, but it's a place that's a hydraulics place, and I need to take the rear stabilizer jacks off of my RV and take them to them to get them rebuilt. So I'd like to kill two birds with one stone. If I got to go out there again, I'd like to take those jacks off, take those with me too, and then pick up these fittings and come on back and put this master cylinder on. Because I got a car show coming up this Saturday. It was supposed to have been earlier in the month, but it was canceled because of the hurricane. But it's the last car show of the year, and it's a local one that I like going to. So I really want to go to it. So I want to get this master cylinder back on there today because I got to go back to work tomorrow to my regular job. So that pays for everything because YouTube's just not doing it, you know. But, you know, if I got to making some money doing YouTube, then maybe I would stop doing my regular job. But it's going to take, you know, it's going to take a lot of subscribers and stuff, and I just don't have that right now. So we're going to do what we got to do. So, yeah. Let's go see if we can find some fittings and come back here and put this master cylinder on today. into a little bit of a problem here. So I had an obstruction inside the master cylinder that I had to clear out, which is weird. But got that taken care of, and actually got some, I think it's got some pressure going to the front wheels now, to the wheel cylinders. But then when that happened, I blew a brake line out well, it runs from the top of this junction block across over to the right front wheel. And the place where it's blown out is underneath the heater box there. Kind of down in there. In that area. I mean, you can't see very well. But it's not that big a deal. We're going to take some of this. I found some of this here in the shop. 3/16 brake line. Bendable stuff. You can bend it by hand and everything. So it's not my favorite stuff to use. I like stainless steel, but you know, it is what it is. We're going to use that, and we're going to get this front brake working so that we can go to the car show tomorrow. Well, here's where we are now. So I went ahead and, as you saw in the video, I measured the old lines out with some string, and then I cut a new piece, and I cut the old steel nuts off, shined them up a little bit, and then did the flares, double flares on here on both ends of this. So this is ready. All I gotta do is bend this line to put it on the car. But we'll let you know a little event that happened here. So I went to, just by happenstance, take my air hose and go to blow this tube out, and it wouldn't blow through it. Luckily that I did that, because if I had put this hose, I put this brake line on the car and tried to bleed the brakes, I still would not have had brake fluid going to the wheel cylinder, and I would have been freaking out, been like, what the heck is going on now? But I didn't do that. And what I found was, spaced out in here, I mean pretty evenly, it seems like, I used a TIG rod. There were 4 blockages inside this brake line, in this piece of line. I've had this stuff hanging on the wall for years, and apparently some kind of bug that's small enough to fit in there, I don't know if it's a spider or whatever kind of bug it is that builds their house out of mud, but it wasn't a mud dauber because they're way too big. Those bees are too big to get in there. So it was some kind of insect that, or spider, that builds their house out of mud, because they had carried some in there, and they had built 4 spaces in here that were blocked with dirt. And I put a TIG rod down in here and broke them loose and used some brake clean, flush it out, and now I have a unrestricted brake line. But just to let you know, even if you store stuff inside your shop, stuff like this, definitely check, make sure that it's unobstructed. before you use it, because I just got lucky there. I mean, realistically, there shouldn't have been anything in there. There's no real reason why I would have tried to blow it out with air. I mean, unless I, I guess, from deburring the inside of the hole. I don't know what I was thinking. It's something that I do, but it's a good thing I did. So now we're going to bend this thing up and put it back on the car, try to get it snaked through there as best we can and make it look halfway decent, and see how it goes. Well, we have brakes. We got the brakes all bled out, and that project is completed. Well, here's the thing. So in the midst of doing this, I had to take the throttle linkage apart, as you saw earlier, which was right in there. And there's been an issue with the throttle that's been bothering me, that I've been wanting to take care of. So I figured while I have it apart, I'm going to go ahead and do it. The deal is, see these here? So that shaft runs through two of these rubber bushings, and they're, as rubber is, they're flexible, and you can see it's not even really round anymore. It's just kind of oblong with all that pressure. Every time you hit the gas pedal applies pressure on it, and it tries to move up, and it just, these are 61 years old, so they're worn out anyway. So, but I wanted a little bit more responsive throttle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my machine shop on my lathe, and I'm going to take some hard white Delrin. I'm going to turn down some new bushings to go in there that aren't rubber, that aren't flexible, and we're going to put this back together more solid to where when you hit the gas, it's a lot more responsive than it has been in the past. So anyway, just one more bug to work out that I wasn't able to work out before. I've already wire wheeled the linkages down here and primed and painted them. So we're just waiting for those to dry. In the meantime, I'm gonna go over on the lathe and turn down my new bushings. I made me a couple little quick sketches here, nothing fancy. It's not a drafting print or nothing like that, but it'll get by for a quick sketch to do a quick little project with. So that's what we're going to do. My camera died, so I didn't get to get everything on film that I did to fix this throttle issue, but did get it done. So here we go. So these ended up being way better than these. You can see how that hole's elongated just from being stretched. But those are hard Delrin, and they work, a lot better. Check it out. can see, that's a lot more stable, a lot more rigid, great throttle response. Car was super cold. It's fall around here, and this thing's pretty cold natured, so yeah, I didn't give it time to warm up. So anyway, you know, I was rapping on throttle. It warms it up faster, you know what I mean? Now that we have our new steering box from O'Reilly's, I want to go ahead and put that in here. You know, they didn't really have the exact match, or let me rephrase that, they didn't really have the exact one called out for this car. So I called Borgeson, and Borgeson didn't either. So but their technical guy on the phone with me asked me to send him the measurements on the 3 bolts that mount it to the frame. So I did that, and he told me that that was an exact match for a steering box that goes on a 58 to 64 Chevy Impala. So he gave me the part number for it and everything for O'Reilly's, because they didn't carry it. They carried the one that was power steering, but not the one that was manual steering. So he actually gave me the part number from O'Reilly's website. So I called them up and ordered it there, and they're pricey. It comes from a company in Minnesota called Laris. Apparently they manufacture them here in the United States, so that's great. But they ordered it for me, and it was like $520 for that steering box, and then $125 core. So I need to go ahead and get this thing swapped out so that I can take the old one back up there and get my core money back. You know, 125 bucks, that's a lot of money. So I don't think anyone would disagree. I think they would agree. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll go ahead and throw this steering box on there. Well, you know, the job's never finished around here at Sparks and Grit Garage. There's always something else to do, right? Just like at your place, just like at your shop, the jobs never stop coming in. Especially when they're your own stuff you got to work on. So we got the steering box all done. And like I told y'all before, the drag link that I built for the Power Tour was a little bit too short. So I already have a drag link kit from Speedway Motors that I ordered at that time. Didn't have time to put it on. So we're going to do that now. Now the problem is the one that I ordered, I think it's too short. So I may have to drill and tap a longer piece of 1-inch rod on my lathe to make the drag link now. But what we're gonna do first is we're gonna unhook the old drag link from the steering box, and we're gonna make sure we got it centered up, got the steering box centered up and the front wheel straight. And then we're gonna take a measurement from the steering arm on the passenger side to the pitman arm on the steering box and see how long that is. And that's where we got to start. So here we go. Let's this tie rod end off. Now we're gonna count the turns on the steering wheel, right to left, center up this pitman arm with the input shaft. All the way left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and about 5/8. No, about 3/8. 4 3/8. So we'll need 2 3/16 back. 1, 2, and 2 1/4. A little bit less. I'll be pretty close. Let me see here. Yes, that is right close. So right to where my center mark was. So it ended up being pretty close to where I marked the center mark before. It ended up being about right there. I just turned it back to my line because I know the line was right. I didn't have a way of as accurately counting the turns on the steering wheel. I had it measured out on the steering box when it was on the bench. So I'm gonna trust my mark to be closer. So anyway, now all we have to do is get under here and measure, because the wheels are straight, from that tie rod end steering arm on the other end to the pitman arm. Okay, let's go over here and stretch the old tape measure across. Looks like we're right at about 32.5. Now let's go check our Speedway Motors drag link to see how long it is. So I've got this same amount of threads inside the tube on both ends. And that's ideally what you want, so you have plenty of adjustment. We're just gonna see, oh well, 31.5, we're about an inch off. Man, that's so close. So that's an inch on both ends, and I only have an inch in, or half an inch on both ends, so that would only leave me with a half inch in there. I really need more than that. How long is this tube? Hmm. 27. Man, if that was 28 inches, it'd be perfect. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put it together, and then I'm going to make me another tube that's 28 inches long, and then I'll just swap it out. So, man, what a shame. That's so close. You know, and I did this all off of just, I mean, string and plumb bobs and tape measures, and nothing was together. So pretty much did all this just measuring with this out, and then kind of put it together and took my old drag link and made a sleeve for it, and you know, cut the center of it out, slid the two ends in the sleeve, and then welded it up. And you know, the sleeve that I made, technically I can make a longer sleeve for that and make it work if I had to, but I've got these brand new tie rod ends, so I'm going to use these. But man, so close. Not a big deal. I'll go ahead and make a new drag link and just screw these tie rod ends into it. But we're going to put this one on. Let's see if we can get this on here. Alright, so let's go with turn 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go 4 on the other end. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty close. 6. It is in there. Man, there ain't a whole lot of threads left in it. I'm going to measure it up and see here in a minute. Get these all the way out. And we were 1 7/8. Man, it ain't much off of that now. We're going to measure it and see. About 1 3/8 inches. So I thought right. We got a 1/2 inch inside the tube, which really ain't enough for my liking. This is only temporary, so we're gonna go ahead and make a tube, or it ain't gonna be a tube. This is a chrome moly tube, powder coated. I'm gonna make mine out of a piece of 1-inch cold roll. Make it on a lathe, drill it and tap it. It'd be heavier, but hey, you know, this car ain't light anyway. Not a big deal. Now, like I said, this is not the finished product, but I can still drive this car around. I mean, we're not gonna be doing 100 miles an hour, drag racing and stuff like that. We can drive. I mean, that's enough to hold it in place, but I wouldn't trust it, you know, for real high speeds and stuff like that. So, but at least I can move this thing around, get it out of the way when I need to, pull it out of the shop. And I do have a working car again. We're gonna run in here on the lathe and try to turn this new bar out tonight, this new drag link, and maybe we'll get on her tonight. Maybe we'll get on her tomorrow morning. Maybe not till next week. You don't know, and I don't either. So getting there is half the fun, you know that. We'll see you in a few. That's the end of this video. So thank y'all for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. I mean, that's real important to YouTube channels. And it don't cost anything, it's free. So, you know, if you decide you don't like it later, you can unsubscribe later. Don't want you to, but you could. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you can. Very much appreciated. Thank you all so much. Rock on.